Hi guys, good afternoon from a very hot London. Let's have a quick look over some of the markets. Of course, yesterday was all about gold, so we will come on to that. The S&P had a down day yesterday, first time in quite some time. I have to say, this time yesterday I was pretty confident we'd get the all-time high, but we did drift down following some comments regarding the Republicans and Democrats. But business as usual today as we are up so far. I think now looking at this, you're happy to stay long the S&P as long as it stays above 33.12, which is the high that we had back on the 24th, that Monday after we gapped down, and really and truly probably 32.87 as well. As we put this into more of a 60-minute, just encapsulating the last few days, you can see the low of yesterday was just really the bottom part of this range that had held price in from the 7th, which of course was Friday. So that now sort of marks up a pretty important zone, keeping a watch on that. Next move to the upside, if it of course happens, really, you can see why we found resistance on the high of the day here. So 33.60, that's going to act as a bit of a level. Trend line from the high, worthwhile keeping a watch on if that holds as one. So it might be you need both of these areas to go before that push to the upside. To the downside, the previous high of the morning, you can see we found a bit of resistance around here before support. 33.42 looks relatively important as well. And even if that does drift down, just be aware, I would say 33.67 as well. But just a bit of profit taking on really where that selling started yesterday. Gold is recovering a touch. Big move lower yesterday. I think the conditions as well as we've said for a while are still supportive of gold longer term. A sell-off was due, or correction should we say was due. I think we do get back to that $2,000 handle, and that's going to be key for me, along with some of these other lows as well. So 1975, which was the 31st and third low, or that sort of area, and also around where the high of the day was as well. You can see some decent price action around 1950s, albeit from yesterday it did get choppy eventually, but this along with the pivot, that's going to be pretty key. To the downside, if you are expecting that, I would sort of have that line in the sand where the bulls would be worried if we finish below 1911, and then you've got the 1900 handle as well. But for now, I think the bulls can be relatively happy that we got through there with relatively little in the way of obstruction. But yeah, keep an eye on that pivot, and then any of these previous key levels will be worth noting. The euro, it's struggling. You can see just to get above this high. I mean the low that we hit overnight, it just keeps coming back down to this massively important support point. Until that goes, I wouldn't be looking to add to any shorts. If you are short from this area last night, that line in the sand I talked about, I think you'd be happy enough. You probably would have wanted to have de-risked, of course, but we've got a nice resistance level, and that's really now just that midpoint, the line in the sand. If it gets above there, the sellers probably won't want to hold this for much longer, so just keep a watch on that. Basically just above the 118 handle, 118.18, funnily enough. So yeah, that's kind of how I would look at it. Lower time frame, more intraday, you'd probably argue the pivot is going to be pivotal to where this really goes. Is it going to get below there and then we see a drift down, or is that the opportunity for the buyers that come in and we get another test of yesterday's high? Quick look over at the pound. You can see that's drifting down. The rejection obviously of this area yesterday has proved key, and also the failure to really close above that sort of line in the sand that we had on. Hasn't obviously confirmed a break of the lows yet, and it might be like euro, we have to come down and test those at some point, but just remember that it would have to close the day below here for it to be considerable break. Intraday level line in the sand that I'm looking at between the bulls and the bears, pretty much the pivot as well. So 130.74 will be that key point. Anyway guys, hope all is well, and I'll catch you later.